Hello students, today we are going to start our fifth poem and it is 2.5. Father, returning home, which is written by the poet Dilip Chitre. So, this is the first part of our fifth poem. So, open your books, page number 116. On this page number, first we are going to take or learn the introduction about the poet and little bit information given about this poem. Now listen carefully. Dilip Chitre, 1938 to 2009. So Dilip Chitre was born on 1938 and he died in 2009. Was a celebrated it means famous. Famous. Bilingual it means able to speak in two languages. Poet. So Dilip Chitre was famous for his being bilingual. It means he can speak or write in two languages and translator with a remarkable. Remarkable it means extraordinary. Remarkable work in Marathi and English. So, this poet Dilip Chitre was translating some literature from English to Marathi or Marathi to English, and for this remarkable, extraordinary work, he was very famous. He is versatile. Versatile it means skillful in many ways. Versatile it means any person who is very skillful in different things. So that kind of person is called versatile person. Versatile creativity extend to painting, filmmaking, and he is notable. Notable it means oath to notice. Notable contribution as a magazine columnist. Columnist it means, look at the code. Columnist it means a journalist who writes a column in a newspaper or magazine. Column it means any article, written article. So, how was his versatile character because he was not only a writer, not only a poet, but he was a painter also. He was a filmmaking, he did some filmmaking contribution also, and at, at that the time he was a magazine columnist. It means in the magazine he was writing some columns, some articles, and all this contribution of Dil Chitre made him versatile person. It means the person who is skillful in different things, different sector. He received the prestigious it means having high status. Prestigious Sahitya Akademi Award for both for poetry as well as for his well-known translation work, says Tuka, popular Abhanga, spiritual poems. Spiritual it means spiritual it means related to religion or religious belief. Spiritual poems by Sant Tukaram. So, here we are getting information that Dilip Chitre received prestigious, very valuable Sahitya Akademi Award for two things. One, for his poetry, and as well as for his well-known translation of Tukaram's spiritual poems into English language, and the title to that translation he gave, says Tuka. For these two things he got prestigious Sahitya Akademi Award. He had started translation of literary work of a saint. Saint it means holy or virtuous person. Saint in Marathi at the age of 16. So, his age of 16, from that age he started to write the translation of a Marathi saint, holy people, virtuous people in Marathi, their work, their literature he started to translate into English language at the age of 16. Exile it means barred from one's native country. So any person who is barred, who doesn't have permission to live in his country, he's sent out of his country with force, that kind of person is called exile. Alienation it means experience isolation, being isolated in a group. Experience being isolated means separate. So you are living in a group and in that group you are feeling that I am separate from this group, I am alone from this group is not accepting me. So that kind of feeling is called alienation. Then self disintegration. Self disintegration, it means self disintegration, it means state of being alone or lonely. And death are observed to be the major theme of his works. So whatever writing Dilip Chitra did, in his writing he used four major themes. First, exile, send someone out of his country with force. Second, alienation, it means feel isolated from a group. Then self disintegration, it means loneliness, aloneness and death. These four are the major themes of Dilip Chitra's writing, Dilip Chitra's work. Now in the next stanza we are going to get the information about this poem. This poem is taken from Traveling in a Cage. So this poem, Father returning home, this poem is taken from a Traveling in a Cage from this collection. This poem is taken here for our study. It draws a portrait. Portrait, it means, let me first clear this slide, then I will give you meaning of that word. So wait a minute. So what is that word? That word was portrait. Portrait, it means picture. Portrait of a suburban. Suburban, it means outline part of a city. Suburban commuter. Meaning of this word commuter is given here. Look at here. Commuter, it means those who travel regularly from one place to another, typically to work. So here we are getting information that in this poem the poet is drawing picture of suburban peoples who are particularly travel from one place to another place for their job, particularly for their job. It depicts, depict, it means represent by words or describe. Represent by words or another meaning is describe. He is dull. Dull, it means lacking interest. Lacking interest. Another word is monotonous. Monotonous, it means without variety. Exhausting. Exhausting, it means, look at the board. Tired out completely. Exhausted and equally pitiable daily routine. Pitiable, it means deserving or arousing pity. So what is the meaning of pity? Look at here. Pity, it means a feeling of sorrow or compassion caused by sufferings of others. So it depicts his dull, monotonous, exhausted and equally pitiable daily routine. So in this poem, the poet is presenting, describing very dull life of suburban people, very monotonous, it means there is no variety, no change in his life. Exhausted, it means completely tiring out physically and mentally that person become very tired, and equally pitiable, it means if any person is suffering from some kind of situation, some kind of action, some kind of routine, so we feel pity, we feel compassion about that person. So these kind of all things he used in his poem Father Returning Home. It describes a forced alienation at home, and in this poem he is describing how any person who lives in a suburban area, that person forcefully become alienate. It means forcefully that person becomes separate from others, even from his family also, which is reflected through the stale food. Stale means, let me first clean this slide, then I will give you meaning of that word. Wait a minute, boys and girls. So what was that word? That word was stale. Stale means not fresh. Stale means not fresh. Stale food and lack of sharing. So this what alienation, being separate from even his family, that is presented through how he eat stale food. It means he doesn't eat fresh food, hot food. He eat very cold or very unfresh food daily, and lack of sharing. And there in his family, neither his children nor his wife is sharing their feelings with him. His children refuse to share their joy, sorrow with a hard-working father who as a result is forced to retire into isolation. Isolation, it means solitude, it means loneliness. So this person who is living in the suburban area, that person is very hard-working person. But even though his children refuse to share their joys, their sorrows with the father which is very hardworking, who is very hardworking, and the result of this, that person becomes isolated, that person becomes solitude, that person becomes lonely, alone, and always live in a separate area alone from his family. This very painful loneliness is a symbol of man's isolation. Isolation, it means separate, completely separate. Completely separate from the materialistic man-made world. So here, this is the symbol how the life of today's people is very painful, very sorrowful, and all the people are feeling loneliness, aloneness in the whole world. This is the symbol of today's materialistic world. Materialistic world, it means this world, in this world we are living, people are only need to collect possessions, material possession. People only want physical comfort. So this kind of world is called material world. So students, this part ends here. So today we are going to stop here. Have a good day to all of you. Thank you very much.